The Human Synthetic Genome Project.
Should not create monsters.
The Human Synthetic Genome Project.
Will turn out fine if it's done properly with proper screening.
50% failure.
If we don't allow it, if you don't simply...
What do you do with that? What?
Obviously, they miscarry, they have to be terminated. I'm sorry. That is a necessary price. No, you terminate, you have a therapy-deformed child. Nature generally solves the problem by carrying a miscarriage.
How do you know they won't be forced? Dolly's mutating. How do you know when a child...
She's a little fat. The journalist goes in there and gives her a piece
How
of
do you know
candy,
that child...
and that's why she's overweight.
No.
You would be overweight too. Look at all of us. Most of us are overweight. We're not gene mutating. I know very much. You know what happened? Politics got involved.
The Human Synthetic Genome Project.
Politics got involved.
It's not about
No, they took the muscle of the
It's a
state.
disgrace here.
Took the muscle of the state and put it behind who could breed and how they could breed. And that's just what you're trying to do. Telling
Absolutely
people
not.
you have not
We are
the right
saying
to
that
reproduce.
science should not create monsters.
And you're saying there we should outlaw science. You're for outlawing.
Should not create monsters. Should not create Should not create monsters. Should not create monsters.
A gruesome discovery earlier this week of almost 250 fetuses dumped in a forest. Some experts think the fetuses could even be the product of cloning. The product of cloning. 250 fetuses dumped in a forest. The product of cloning. Fetuses dumped in a forest. Fetuses dumped in a forest. Fetuses dumped in a forest.
Now, human cloning raises deep ethical concerns. There is virtually unanimous consensus in the scientific and medical communities that attempting to use known cloning techniques to actually create a human being is untested, unsafe, and morally unacceptable.
The local society has institutions of science and medicine that do not cut ethical corners and that recognize the matchless value of every life. It's egregious abuses of medical research, human cloning in all its forms. Creating or implanting embryos for experiments, creating human-animal hybrids, and buying, selling, or patenting human goods. Egregious abuses of medical research, human cloning in all its forms. Creating human-animal hybrids. Human-animal hybrids.
That will ban the cloning of human beings while preserving our ability to use cloning technology for morally acceptable and medically important purposes.
Human-animal hybrids. Human-animal hybrids. Hybrids. Human-animal hybrids.
The Human Synthetic Genome Project. The Human Synthetic Genome Project. The Human Synthetic Genome Project.
You know, if you go to Disney World, for instance, down there in the Haunted Mansion, you see the hologram, right? Oh, you know how to make a hologram. Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those? They call them synthetics. They call them synthetics. Synthetics. Are you familiar with those?
A guy that they thought was real and found out later that he was a hologram.
Are you familiar with those? Are you familiar with those?
A guy that they thought was real and found out later that he was a hologram. He was a hologram. He was a hologram. A guy that they thought was real and found out later was he was a hologram. He was a hologram. A guy that they thought was real and found out later was he was a hologram. A hologram. He was a hologram.
The Human Synthetic Genome Project.
They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those? They call them synthetics. They call them synthetics. It's a synthetic. The synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic. Are you familiar with those?
A guy that they thought was real and found out later was he was a hologram.
The Human Synthetic Genome Project.
The synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic.
A guy that they thought was real and found out later was he was a hologram. A hologram. He was a hologram.
The Human Synthetic Genome Project.
How our government's been making people. How our government's been making people.
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, talking
The Human
talking list.
Synthetic
Talking list.
Genome
Meaning through genetics?
Project.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just kidding. Now I'll act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver. All I need is a receiver. We give them a small electrical charge. We give them a small electrical charge. We give them a small electrical charge. Now I'll act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver. We were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens, and the fetus starts growing. Food, where they can use cows and sheep too. Again, a food source, that's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden, that fetus is gone. It's gone. All of a sudden that fetus is gone. It's gone. Because they've learned to take, that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used the pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. Now, the reason was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. If you need a heart or a liver or anything, you won't have any rejection. It's your own DNA, right?
Okay, because theoretically, if we have overpopulation, we don't need more people, right?
But the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway, so we want to keep people going as long as we can. The DNA sequencing. The DNA sequencing.
A lot of presidents have already been replaced.
That's right. Look at the person and listen to him speak. Look at his actions and listen to everything that's there. Now, it's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like him. Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that. And then ended up in Antarctica or in Swabenland and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard.
They tried to burn the body and he got the body back and so in at different years and the testicles were different and everything else, so they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
Oh, now you know I'm going by cloning. Cloning techniques, since 1938, we've been making clone people. Your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Your soul memory is another thing. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. Now let's show you the division on these things. Since the body is very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts. They said, now we've got the perfect deal. How can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get into cephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this beam. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have, because we just took it off of your own mind. That has the total memory that you have, because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorded. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. The nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized. Another agenda that's going on, so you have to be careful of all this. So now you have a combination effort that you have to look at, and discernment. You have to discern what the game is. Well, just figure that most of the leaders we have in the world have been bought and paid for or created to think a certain way in the world. There are many extraterrestrials that would like to be in on the game right now, so they can sometimes will come into these physical beings that we make to manipulate.
I see.
There are many extraterrestrials that would like to be in on the game right now, so they can sometimes will come into these physical beings that we make to manipulate them.
The Human Synthetic Genome Project. These days, when Harvard isn't organizing black masses for its students, it's holding Bilderberg-like meetings to create a totally synthetic human genome. Their goal is to artificially synthesize all 3 billion base pairs or chemical letters in the human genome. Unlike the original Human Genome Project, whose purpose was to read the entire genome, this project, the Synthetic Human Genome Project, will Frankenstein into reality a transgenic human. This process, of course, will require gutting out a human embryo and replacing it with synthetic DNA. Not only will this pave the way for rolling out synthetic humans off the assembly line, it will pave the way for human cloning as well as chimera hybrids of all shapes and sizes. Flying pigs may soon become a reality, ladies and gentlemen, and with gene drive technology, they could have the code built in to force their synthetic genome onto subsequent generations. Clones breeding clones to naturally weed out the population. This will be a pivotal component to the post-human agenda. Since these future clones and transgenic humans will have little choice but to implement the plans of their originating laboratory, sooner rather than later, we will see transgenic humans born with cognitive augmentation, half man, half machine, able to upload to the communications grid and ready to download their orders for extermination. Transgenic humans born with cognitive augmentation, half man, half machine, able to upload to the communications grid and ready to download their orders for extermination. Ready to download their orders for extermination. Ready to download their orders for extermination. Orders for extermination.